At first glance, it's hard to believe this picture-perfect village with all these thatched cottages was built just a couple of centuries ago when a whole community was uprooted and moved here. Find out why and where I am in just a moment. Today's property search is all about having the right outlook. That's what this house is about.
Yes.
That picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We asked for a sea view, but didn't think you'd find it. So how you did it, I don't know.
But will we be able to find our home hunters the dream location for a country retirement?
I feel quite emotional about it. It's really, really fabulous.
It's a great start. Today I'm in Dorset and this is the village of Milton Abbas. It was built in the 1770s by the Earl of Dorchester, who brought on board the famous landscape designer Lancelot Capability Brown and the architect Sir William Chambers. But this was no great philanthropic mission. The Earl actually moved the village here from its original spot nearby because it was spoiling the view from his newly built mansion. So he completely demolished it and created this village here over the hill and out of sight. That said, the end result certainly possesses that authentic Dorset character that you'll find in many places across the county. Dorset is found on the south coast of England and is bordered by Hampshire to the east, Wiltshire to the north, and Somerset and Devon to the west. Its 95 miles of coastline offer striking geological features such as Durdle Door, a natural limestone arch thought to be named from the Old English word thurl, meaning to pierce or bore. Man-made coastal landmarks include the Cobb at Lyme Regis, a curved stone pier which has formed a harbour since at least 1313. Close to the town of Bridport, a near conical sandstone hill is eye-catchingly topped by a smattering of pine trees. Indeed, hills are very much a feature of the landscape here, where fertile pastures have made an ideal sheep farming location, providing trade in both wool and meat. Dorset is also rich in ecclesiastical buildings, although its religious history is rather more turbulent than the serenity of the resultant architecture. The village of Chiddock was once known for clandestine Catholic worship after the Civil War. In the late 16th century, 4 local Catholics, now known as the Chiddock Martyrs, were tried in the village and consequently executed in the county. The World Memorial Chapel is an important landmark in the story of Catholic emancipation. So whether it's picture postcard towns and villages, wild coastlines or local history, Dorset really does offer a great choice for those seeking a country escape. All of this beauty and history does, of course, come at a price. The average cost of a detached home here in Dorset is around £321,000. That's about £55,000 above the national figure. That does include the super expensive sandbanks near Poole, where price tags are routinely in their millions. As a general rule of thumb, if you move away from coastal hotspots, your money will go that a little bit further, especially if you move towards the north of the county. So which parts of Dorset are today's buyers inspired to move to? Let's meet them and find out. Life has been an adventure for Diana and Jonathan from Burgess Hill, Sussex, since they first got together over 3 decades ago.
We met when Jonathan was in the police force and I was a stewardess. After knowing each other for 10 days, we decided to get married, and that was 33 years ago.
Yes.
I think excitement sums up our relationship and our life together. We are quite impulsive. We're very impulsive.
As well as packing in plenty of round-the-world travel, Diana and Jonathan also had 2 sons. Now the couple are in their mid-60s and their kids have moved away to have families of their own. But life hasn't stopped with retirement, particularly for former police officer Jonathan, who's become a published author.
My writing, I started about 5 years ago. Crime thriller, based, using my experience. I'm on my 3rd book at the moment.
But that's not all Diana and Jonathan are seeking. They're also looking for more new experiences and want to move away from their hometown of 23 years to start a new life in more rural surroundings.
We are enclosed on the edge of an estate with a main road 50 yards away. There is a constant noise, there's a constant traffic jam, there is a building going on. Every day there is someone nearby drilling, cutting down a tree or hedge cutting.
We would like somewhere that had just that little bit of extra space, a little bit quieter, a little bit more of a view.
And there's one part of the country in particular that's calling them.
An area that we really do like and we've visited and travelled through quite a bit is West Dorset. I think it's a very pretty area. It's got fascinating history. The coastline is quite dramatic. Even during the summer, out on the headlands, it's got that little bit of wildness about it.
What's drawing me to West Dorset is the relaxed pace of life. I like the scenery. I like the fact that the sea's there. I think there's a lot of energy going on there. It's becoming an interesting, lively place as well as a peaceful place. I feel quite at home in that area. I think I could settle down there.
Of course, settling down for this energetic duo doesn't really mean putting their feet up.
I'll want to take up sailing, maybe get a small boat to go up and down rivers or that type of thing.
I want to meet new people, perhaps running a sewing group there.
I think we'll turn out to be very busy.
I think so.
Busy.
And although the move means leaving behind the location of many happy memories, they know there are plenty of new ones to look forward to.
It will be sad because we have been happy and we've got lots of friends, but they'll have to come and visit us.
Diana and Jonathan want to concentrate their search in the southwest of the county, close to the coast between Bridport and the Devon border. But before we start our house hunt, I want to know more about the type of home they're hoping to find here. Diana and Jonathan, welcome to Dorset.
Thank you very much.
Is it those fabulous sea views that are attracting you to this county?
The sea views, the countryside, the way of life, yes, yeah.
It really does have a little bit of everything.
It's got
here.
everything, and it's just so peaceful, yet there's that vibrancy that you get next to the sea.
What do you want from the house itself?
We're looking for somewhere bright and airy. We'd probably like 3 bedrooms, and we'd like a room where I could do my sewing. You could perhaps do your writing.
That's really quite important.
The view's most important to us, and the location.
So location-wise, what sort of setting would you like?
I'd like a view, proximity to the sea, and not too far away from a town.
Is there anything you both don't want?
I think from experience, thatched cottage.
Yeah, agree, really. That's probably, I say, a thatch. I don't really want a thatch.
And remind me of your budget?
Go ahead.
Well, consider our budget is 500,000.
OK.
We could just go a little bit above that if we needed to.
I like hearing that because it is a popular county,
Yes.
of course. So it's always nice to know that you might have a little bit extra.
Yes, yeah.
And we have got some fantastic properties already waiting for you.
Oh, lovely.
So let's get going.
Lovely, thank you very much.
For a budget of £500,000, but some leeway if necessary, Diana and Jonathan are looking for a bright and airy property with a minimum of 3 bedrooms. They'd like a sewing room for Diana, as well as a separate space for Jonathan to write. The location is important and should offer them views, as well as proximity to the coast and a town. And while they are flexible over style, neither of them is keen on thatched houses. We've got an exciting variety of homes to present, and at each one, I'll be asking them to guess the price before I reveal it. And our final property will be the mystery house, which may be a naughty choice, but could turn out to be surprisingly nice. But before that, we're off to view house number 1. Our property search is kicking off just a 5-minute drive from Charmouth Beach, in the small village of Morecambe Lake. With its outlook across rolling fields to the sea, it's a great starting point for several walks. The village is home to the savoury Dorset knob biscuit, made here since late Victorian times. Amenities include a post office and store, as well as a farm shop. Our first house is idyllically located just a 5-minute walk away. This is our first property, the house on the hill.
That's just lovely, isn't it?
Isn't that gorgeous?
Absolutely gorgeous, the trees and...
So this is the location you were looking for?
Oh, yes.
Am I right?
Yeah, lovely.
Yep.
It really is lovely.
Do we need to go in? I mean, look, the house is ideal already.
It's ticking a lot of boxes already.
It's lovely, yeah. Really nice.
Let's see if the inside charms you, eh?
Location's
Yes,
charming.
lovely.
This hillside home was originally built in the 1930s, but has been fully renovated by the current owners over the past decade. The property is accessed via a decked frontage with French doors that lead straight into the large country kitchen. Come in.
Wow.
It's a really good sized kitchen,
Yep.
nice and light. And you come straight in, so the balcony is part of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Absolutely, so you can throw open the doors. That's your little champagne balcony.
Yep. Oh, I think it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
really,
Yeah, it's really
really
good.
lovely.
You've got a conservatory just through there, which again makes use of the views.
Yeah.
You've got a really lovely sized utility room, so this isn't where everything is. So even as you're washing
Doing it. It's so light and bright.
It's got a lovely feel to it, really lovely feel.
Really.
So you can imagine yourself relaxing in here.
Absolutely.
Actually,
Yeah, I can actually. It's really.
yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
And the two doors that you can see there are bedrooms.
Oh.
Yes, so they're matching bedrooms. They've
Yes.
each got a working fireplace
wow.
in each of the bedrooms. Both can fit double beds in. So really, those are your guest rooms.
Yes, lovely.
Yeah.
Let me show you your bedroom though.
Thank you.
A really heartening reaction to the welcoming spaces on offer in this beautifully located home. But there's even more to impress Jonathan and Diana upstairs, where the converted loft space is entirely devoted to the master accommodation, with its own dressing room and ensuite, featuring a modern bathtub and separate shower. Up here, you've got your own private suite, really.
Wow.
I like the lightness, it's really bright. Look at the views across there.
Diana, you could wake up to that view.
Wow. That is like a picture. It's absolutely lovely.
This floor is your own, not really for guests, unless in the future you chose to stay in the bedrooms on the ground floor. It's a perfect house for a couple in
It
a way.
is.
Yeah, it
yes,
is.
it is.
Perfect.
I like the way they shape the ceiling to get the light in.
Yeah.
It's
Beautifully
done it
done.
really nicely.
Great. Let's go see what else is in store.
exciting.
Can you lead us
Right.
back out to the garden? Well, the interior has delivered everything Diana and Jonathan had hoped for. And I don't think the outside will disappoint. Extensive gardens boast many mature shrubs and trees, plus outbuildings, including a former housekeeper's annex with recently lapsed planning permission. Subject to a fresh application, it could be turned into extra guest accommodation, or they could use it as a writing or sewing space. There's also a large paddock, currently kept in check by the owner's small flock of sheep. So you've got 3/4 of an acre, really.
That's a joy.
Yeah.
I like gardening. I like working outside.
So, what would this beautiful house cost you?
Well, I would say certainly top end. So I would say 525.
I'm not going to argue too much with that. I'll be optimistic and go 520.
It's actually on the market for just under your budget, £499,950.
Good gracious. Unbelievable. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I feel quite emotional about it. It's really, really fabulous.
It's a great start.
Yeah.
Go and have another look around now that
Yep.
you know the price.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll meet you up front in a bit.
All right,
All right,
thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you very much.
Coming in slightly under budget, this hillside property has everything our buyers want from their new home in the country. The 3 double bedrooms include a master suite on the entire upper floor. Plus there's a large kitchen diner and spacious sitting room, as well as wonderful countryside views from almost every room. The large plot gives keen gardener Jonathan plenty to work with, and an annex offers potential as a writing or sewing room.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, really.
Again, it's an extension of the house into the garden. Everything's joined up. It's really lovely.
Yeah, gorgeous. The house inside, lovely open plan, beautifully done, nice soft wood everywhere. I wouldn't want to change anything. I think it's really gorgeous.
I think the views were our #1 priority, quite honestly, and it's beautifully situated. The rooms are so nicely done. It feels as though the outside and inside are almost joined together.
Beaming smiles, that's what I like to see. I don't think we could have asked for a better start to our house hunt.
No,
Certainly not.
no. It really does tick all the boxes. It's lovely. Really is lovely.
Great, can't ask for more than that. Let's go.
Thank you.
The fertile lands of Dorset have a long tradition of food production, but historically they were also an important source of clothing. Arable and livestock farming supported the making of lace and wool, whilst the county's sheep also provided discs of horn to be turned into early cloth-covered buttons. In the 17th century, button making really took off here when an English soldier returning from battles in Europe realised the growing popularity of buttoned clothing and set up a commercial makers in the town of Shaftesbury. And that's where we're sending Jonathan and keen seamstress Diana. They're meeting local button maker and historian Anna McDowell to find out about this Dorset form of haberdashery.
Hello and welcome to Shaftesbury.
Thank you very much.
You're now visiting the birthplace of the Dorset button industry. So I understand you're a sewer?
I am indeed.
Why don't we go into the Gold Hill Museum and have a look?
Lovely. Thank you very much.
With women typically able to earn more from making buttons from home than from working on the land, it was a popular endeavour that supported many families for around 200 years. Gold Hill Museum has several examples of the different designs produced over that time.
As you can imagine, there are a lot of other people making buttons, especially thread buttons, which is basically what a Dorset button is. Up in Macclesfield, you had the silk buttons, you had button makers in London, but here in Dorset, we're unique because our buttons are actually made originally with linen fabric.
Oh.
And also the natural sheep's horn. But the original buttons were the high tops and the Dorset knobs, which you can see a little Dorset knob in here. The flatter button, they say, was more undergarments.
Was it just the women at home that made the buttons?
No, the children would have been involved. These buttons here, they're made from a wire ring, and small boys were used to dip the wire to seal them. And there would have been the men. They were agents and used to sell the buttons. It was actually a very well-organised industry or business.
These handmade thread buttons were to provide a viable income for many Dorset families until the middle of the 19th century, when machines capable of doing the job much faster and more cheaply cut the cottage industry dead. But just a short distance from the museum, Anna is bringing the old-fashioned techniques back to life in her workshop.
I thought we'd have a go at just doing something simple, a larger version of one of these.
And you call that a simple one, do you?
Yes. That is a simple cartwheel button.
Lovely.
As there are no written records of how the original buttons were made, Anna has had to work the methods out for herself, starting with measuring out the thread.
3 lengths.
Yep.
Like that.
Yep. This is the old-fashioned yard.
It is the old-fashioned yard.
Next, the thread is used to cover a small metal ring with a series of blanket stitches.
Throw the thread over the back of your hand
Yep.
and you form a loop,
Yep.
right? You're going to put the needle through that loop.
The most difficult thing is it keeps getting tangled up, or it's just me.
Go through the loop, the centre of the ring, and pull it tight.
It's not as easy as it looks.
No, it's not.
It now takes Anna around 40 minutes to make a single button. But in the 1730s, women workers were earning around 2 shillings a day, with averages of 6 or 7 dozen buttons.
I was told that a local farmer at harvest time said he couldn't get the women to help at the harvest because they could actually earn more making buttons than they could on the land.
Once the ring is tightly covered with the blanket stitching, Anna creates an effect like the spokes of a wheel by taking turns around the entire button.
Sometimes I put more spokes, sometimes I put in less spokes.
And then draws these all together with a crossed stitch at the centre.
Now watch this.
Oh, how clever.
Finally, a back stitch is used over each of the spokes to cover the gaps.
Eventually, you'll fill up the button. Right, we're nearly there. And you've got something like that.
Oh,
Gracious. It looks really lovely.
it's fabulous. It looks like a really intricate spider's web.
There you have it, a Dorset button.
It's lovely. Thank you very much indeed. It's really lovely.
Well, why don't you take that home
That's fabulous,
and then
yes.
take those two you've been working on and finish them off.
Thanks very much
Thank you,
indeed for
and
showing
good luck.
us.
It's been wonderful to see a cottage craft being revived in its original surroundings. But for now, we'll have to wait to get our buyer's property search all sewn up when we continue with the house hunt tomorrow. Diana and Jonathan from Burgess Hill, West Sussex have a budget of £500,000 to find their dream home near the coast of West Dorset. We've already shown them some tantalising property, but there's still more to look at, and our mystery house may just confound expectations.
What a pleasant surprise.
Take it all back. It's really bright. Yeah.
Plus, I get back to basics with a pair of printmakers who left London life for the rural delights of Dorset.
It's caveman technology. It's not that difficult, really.
We have two more properties to view today. Later on, we'll be visiting our mystery house, which gives me the opportunity to show Diana and Jonathan something they'd never have gone to see themselves. But first, we have another house to look at, and this one really makes the most of being by the coast. For our next house, we're walking distance from the sea in the historic market town of Bridport. Used as the basis for Port Bredy in Thomas Hardy's fictional Wessex, it has a lively art scene as well as a broad selection of shops and services. Within the town's boundary, West Bay features spectacular cliff walks and sandy beaches. The next house enjoys this magnificent coastal outlook from less than a mile away. We're starting our tour at the rear of the property, where the seaside setting is really maximised. Now, as you both do want to live by the coast, here's a house by the sea.
Oh.
Bringing you in this way, you really get to
get the view.
appreciate
Yeah, you
the
do.
views, which is
Yeah.
what you're after
Yes.
and what you've requested, really.
Yeah.
What do you think about the house itself?
Good size, nice windows.
Immediately, I see those big glass doors, which is showing us the view again. They're making the most of it.
Let's go in.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you.
Built in 1936, this seaside home was given a two-storey extension to the front by the current owners in 2013. A conservatory entrance to the side of the property takes us through to this newer section of the home and the large kitchen diner.
Really good size,
Really nice.
bright. I like the fixtures and the fittings, and they look good.
Yep. Loads
Looks
of
like
cupboards.
it's been nicely done.
Yeah.
Would this
Yeah.
kind of space work for you in the way
Yes.
that you
Yeah.
live?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this is the front of the house. Let's go to the view side of the
yeah,
house.
lovely.
Back at the rear of the property, past a useful downstairs cloakroom, the spacious reception room has sliding patio doors to soak up the setting. This used to be 2 rooms. It works well as a big room, really.
Really good sized room, log burning stove.
That's
Nice,
lovely, isn't it?
bright.
Really.
And the views are really
Gorgeous
aren't
there.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lovely.
with huge, huge doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like a lovely Dorset picture
Yeah.
Yes.
there, doesn't it?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Let's go higher because,
Okay.
of course, that sea view can only get better. Jonathan and Diana barely dared to wish for a view of the sea, but the one on offer from this immaculate detached home is certainly winning them over. Upstairs, there are 4 bedrooms. The 2 smallest rooms are located in the top floor of the front extension, both with single beds. Then to the rear of the property, a large double enjoys that coastal outlook. The family bathroom provides a roll-top bath and separate shower. And then, also to the rear of the property, bedroom number 4 is the master ensuite. You could have next door as a master, but this had the space for the ensuite.
Yeah, and you've got the view. Oh, it's
Yes.
lovely, isn't it? Yeah, really.
That's what this
yeah.
house is about.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Picture.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And lovely big windows to show it off.
If that's what you want, this is the place to go
Yeah.
for.
We asked for a sea view, but didn't think you'd find it. So how you did it, I don't know.
And you've got the hills as
Yeah.
well, so
Yes.
you've got everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice and decorated.
Yeah.
I like the colours, and it's just no decorating.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm really impressed. It's lovely. Really, really lovely.
Yeah.
The appeal of this home seems to be growing stronger and stronger. Outside to the front of the property is a block-paved driveway with parking for several cars. A garage is found at the rear and is reached via a service road. What's more, it has planning permission to be redeveloped, so could provide options for their creative pastimes. There's also a greenhouse and small vegetable patch, as well as a raised terrace and an ample lawn from which to enjoy the views across to the bay. I think this garden is a bit of a blank canvas for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And actually, not a bad place to be working, is it?
No.
Yeah, it needs work doing. But you've got the
Really?
location, of course, which is, again, what we asked for. Views,
Yes.
but close to West Bay, so...
How much is this property on the market for? How much is that sea view going to cost you?
Again, it's got to be top end. An optimistic 515.
Okay.
Still some garden to be done. I'm going to be really optimistic and can go for 495.
You both are being very optimistic. It is actually on the market for £540,000.
Is it really?
So I know I've been naughty by going over budget, but you did say that you might have a little bit extra over the £500,000. And there's always room to negotiate. 540 is
Yeah.
the guide price.
Yes.
OK.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Go and have another look around.
Okay,
Lovely.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The asking price of this detached coastal home may be over budget, but it does fulfil that dream of a sea view. There's a total of 4 bedrooms. That's one more than requested, so plenty of scope for hobby rooms. The property has a large kitchen diner, as well as a good-sized reception room, with space to entertain the whole family. The gardens give Jonathan options for a project, and the garage could potentially be turned into a writer's den.
The first impression was nice, big, bright, light, airy house. Really attractive, south-facing, walking distance to the sea.
Location, absolutely lovely. The views out southwards really does take the eye.
I would hope there'd be room for negotiation because I'm definitely interested. Yeah, it's definitely up there. You've made life difficult for us.
I'm afraid I will need to drag you both away from the gorgeous view, as we still have the mystery house to go.
Yep, OK.
Our property hunt is
Lovely.
not over.
Thank you very
See what else
much.
you've got up your sleeve.
Dorset's beautiful land and seascapes have long been a source of artistic inspiration. Turner was a frequent visitor, painting several sunsets at Poole Harbour, while the brush of Constable captured rain clouds over Weymouth Bay, along with many pastoral scenes. It's a draw that continues to this day. A decade ago, creative couple Cameron Short and Janet Tristram chucked in their London lives and careers in advertising and retail to move to the county and pursue more artistic paths. Settling in Thorncombe, they turned abandoned premises into a home and studio for themselves and their 3 young daughters. Now working as handmade printmakers, they're building a reputation for uniquely captivating work, inspired by their Dorset setting and local folklore. I want to find out about the appeal of the area
Hello.
Hello, Sonali.
and why it's such an attractive location for those seeking creative fulfilment. What persuaded you to move away from London? Many people wanting to get into this business would have been tempted to stay there. What made you come to Dorset?
Yeah, well, I got to a stage of my career as a copywriter where I just kind of had enough. And so I'd be carving away, whittling at night, thinking about designs.
And we've found our way through trial and error, but the things that we do as a family naturally are imbued into the imagery. So it might be the walks we do, the animals we see in the area.
All that stuff does lend itself beautifully to creating imagery. Our life in the countryside now does influence our work. There's a lot that I get stirred by even now. And the pace of life suits us. It's very relaxed. People are very friendly. So we feel very much at home here.
Janet and Cameron now create designs that they work onto cushions, lampshades, wallpaper and furniture, as well as limited edition prints. But it's about more than simply creating aesthetically pleasing objects. There's a depth of statement contained within. Tell me about this one.
Ode to the Ash. Well, that particular print, I heard about the crisis with ash dieback, and I wanted to do something that celebrated the tree and maybe educated people when they looked at it about how important the tree had been in our history and our culture.
Cameron's really using storytelling, and there's certain vignettes within the overall design, so you can kind of lose yourself in what is a repeat pattern. For instance, if it was in a child's room, they can daydream away looking at the little bits and pieces within the image.
The process starts by carving away the parts of the design that will remain ink-free into a lino-covered wood block.
It's caveman technology. It's not that difficult, really.
A tacky linseed-based ink is applied to a plain glass surface and rolled out until it's the texture of suede.
Just push the ink. Really nice.
There's something very therapeutic about this. Next, the ink is transferred from the glass to the carved wood block with the roller. It's a manual process that creates natural imperfections.
You know that it's been done by hand because each print is going to be unique. Not totally perfect, but that's what gives it its life.
Now for Cameron and Janet's early 20th century proofing press to be put into action.
You've got the handle here which will move the cylinder across the bed of the press and apply the pressure, and this thing here that you can alter the pressures.
The paper is carefully laid over the inked block.
Once it's down, you can't move it. Don't even breathe.
And protective felts are put on top before adjusting the pressure.
About there should do it.
Then the cylinder is brought across the design, a little like a mechanical rolling pin.
Just roll it across gently. Just
Give it some
like this.
willy.
Yeah, we probably did that a bit quickly, but it's not going to matter.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Finally, the felts and paper are peeled back, revealing the image.
Oh my gosh.
You see nightjars, moths and a lantern.
My gosh,
Okay.
I want to take that home and frame it.
You can,
May I?
of course you can, yeah.
Thank you. What a wonderful memento of the natural details true artists like Cameron and Janet observe in their surroundings. Stepping into their world has given me a fresh insight into the creative energy that Dorset has to offer. What do you think I have up my sleeve for the mystery property?
I really don't know. You've surprised us so far. I can only think, although we said we would prefer not to, perhaps you've got a thatched property?
So remind me why you don't like thatched?
We didn't want the upkeep of the thatch, and normally they're very small and not light and airy.
You might end up loving the mystery. The mystery offering takes us back to Morecambe Lake, just a short drive from the seaside village of Charmouth. Known as the gateway to the Jurassic coast, there's a gently shelving beach below striking cliffs, often yielding fossils. Amenities include cafes and eateries, medical services, a post office and a traditional butcher's. Our mystery house nestles in the surrounding countryside of Morecambe Lake, a couple of miles away.
How do we know? About how pretty is that?
And you did know, didn't you?
Yeah.
So I'm afraid
Oh.
my mystery house wasn't as much of a mystery as it should have been because you completely guessed.
Oh, but how pretty is that? And what a lovely setting. Wow.
Actually, it looks really nice.
It's a really nice house.
I know you said no thatched. I wanted you to give this a chance because those
Yeah.
fears you have about a thatch of being perhaps pokey.
Yeah.
it doesn't really apply.
Yeah.
It looks so lovely.
Yeah, it does.
I love the round bits on the end,
Yeah.
you know, and
Oh, it's gorgeous. Let's give it a go.
Shall we?
Yeah, absolutely,
You're
yeah.
up for trying it?
absolutely, yeah.
That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
A great reaction to the exterior of our rather cheeky mystery proposition. Built in the 17th century from cobstone and brick, the porched front door of this Grade 2 listed thatched cottage takes us via a hallway into a decidedly spacious reception room. This is the main living room.
Very light and bright.
Yeah.
What a pleasant surprise.
Take it all back. It's really bright.
Yes.
Yeah.
Higher ceilings, I think, than usual on a cottage.
Yep.
Yep. And I like the way they're painted in rather than left dark. It brightens it up.
Good sized windows so that you can see the sun's really coming in.
Was it what you expected?
From a thatched place, no.
No.
No, it's much brighter, much lighter.
Well, this is the older part of the house. Let's
Yeah.
take you through into the newer part.
Okay.
New is a comparative concept in this charming period property. Extended in 1949 in order to provide a plumbed kitchen and WC, the space has been sympathetically refitted by the current owners. This is the relatively newer part of the house, the kitchen.
Oh, lovely. It's really light. So many windows. You couldn't ever call this dark and dingy, could you?
No. Actually, it's a good sized table in here. Really, really surprised. Really pleasantly surprised. Hasn't got straw falling off everywhere.
And the floor's all nicely done. It's a lovely country kitchen.
I'm causing problems, aren't I?
Yes.
Giving you too many choices.
You are. You're definitely
Yes.
causing us problems.
Should we go and explore the upstairs?
Lovely.
Oh, yes, please.
Despite Diana and Jonathan's professed wariness of thatched cottages, the proportions of our charming mystery offering are persuading them that period doesn't have to mean pokey. Off the kitchen, there's also a utility and cloakroom, as well as a snug with cast iron stove. An original curved elm staircase takes us up to the 3-bedroom accommodation. A good-sized double is set under the eaves, as is a similarly characterful twin room. There's also a family bathroom, and then the third and largest of the bedrooms. This is the master.
Uh-huh. Gosh, it's all so nice.
Right.
You can lie in bed and look out at the lovely view.
And this room has a wet room.
Oh, I thought it was just wardrobe space. How nicely done.
It's totally different from my experiences of thatched cottages, you know, which have always had the small windows and everywhere is dark inside the house. It's really, really different. Crumbs.
Let's go back downstairs and outside, because
Okay.
we need to discuss the price.
Okay.
Right.
Lovely.
I'm glad to have confounded their expectations of thatched cottages with this bright and spacious mystery house. And outside there's a lot more to show them, with 1/3 of an acre of mainly south-facing secluded grounds surrounded by countryside. There's a rotating summer house and a well-appointed timber cabin, perhaps offering a peaceful spot to sit sewing or writing that latest crime thriller.
How could we not see a Dorset thatch when we're in Dorset? And it's beautiful. It's such a pretty house. And inside does not disappoint.
So it's
lovely.
charmed you both.
It has.
Yeah, it has,
Absolutely.
yep.
Absolutely.
So how much is this charming property on the market for?
Oh, dear. I'm going to go for 520.
OK, I can't believe it's anywhere near our price range. Again, top end, but I'd say 525.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Oh, well done.
It is on the market for £525,000. The good news is, if you are interested, the owners are willing to take offers. So I think it's attainable, it's achievable.
Yeah.
Have another look around.
OK, lovely.
OK, lovely.
Talk about it.
Yep.
Have a think about whether this kind of country-style property is you.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank
I'll
you.
meet you in a bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With an asking price somewhat above budget, but room for negotiation, this thatched Grade 2 listed cottage has unexpectedly fulfilled Diana and Jonathan's property wish list. Packed with original features such as fireplaces and a timber staircase, there are 3 bedrooms, including an ensuite. The large grounds are set in beautiful countryside, and there's a choice of versatile outbuildings.
I think I'm far more open now in my views on thatched houses, because of inside. Some of the old timbers really just so beautiful. Nice big garden, set in countryside. Really surprised, pleasantly surprised.
It was really pretty, unexpectedly so. So yeah, really pleased with it. It's really given us something to think about. We've seen some fabulous properties, all very different, all meeting what we asked for. So we've now got to make a decision of which one.
Ooh. We better get going because we have so much to discuss.
Yeah.
Where are you both going to live? Choices, choices, choices. It's time to find out if Jonathan and Diana have been able to make a decision about which property to go for. I'm pretty confident at least one of them is still in the running. Hello.
Hello.
I thought it would be lovely to have our chat here on Charmouth Beach, as this could be one of your local beaches.
Yes.
I'd say it's been a successful house hunt, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Definitely, definitely.
All of our properties had pretty much everything on your wish list, so now it's just down to just a feeling, perhaps. What do we do now? What do you do now?
What we've decided is that we'd like to make an offer on the house by the sea,
Yeah.
and if the offer isn't accepted, then we'll go for the house on the hill.
Wow,
Yeah.
that sounds like a grand plan.
Yeah. Yeah. We phoned the estate agent about our house and we've reduced the price and we said we need it gone because
Yes. You want to be in a position to move quickly.
We've just said reduce the price, just do it.
Well, I'm just so pleased for you. Two houses
Yeah.
that you would be
Yeah.
very happy in.
Oh, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's brilliant news.
We couldn't have asked for more and we're just delighted. We had high hopes but they were met over and above.
I'm so pleased for you both.
So thank you.
And I
Thank
can't
you.
wait to hear what happens.
Yeah, but thank you very much.
So, the very best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I do love it when a plan comes together, and this plan has a backup plan. How lovely that Jonathan and Diana absolutely love not just one, but 2 of our properties. And I'm so looking forward to hearing the end of this story and finding out where they'll be starting their new life here in Dorset. See you next time on Escape to the Country. Jonathan and Diana put in their offer on the house by the sea, and it was accepted. They're all packed up and ready to fulfill their dream of living near the Dorset coast in the very near future. If you'd like to escape to the country in England, Scotland, Northern Ireland or Wales and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.